Sure.
Can you tell me the name of this?
This is Washington.
Washington, yeah.
The next one is Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Roosevelt is the furthest one seated back.
Roosevelt.
And Lincoln.
And Lincoln. Thank you so much, guys.
You're more than welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye. of that granite core, which will cut through all that sedimentary rock to form the Black Hills. And then, of course, over the next several million years, erosion will play its part in helping establish what we see here today. So there's your very quick and easy geology talk on the Black Hills. Now, the Black Hills themselves are roughly about 100 miles long by about 65 miles wide. And of course, the majority of them are right here in the western part of South Dakota, but there's also that small portion that move over into northeastern Wyoming, where Devil's Tower is located. Now, some of the first inhabitants, we know people were living around the Black Hills area roughly about 7,000 BC. But we won't have the first recorded inhabitants until about 1500 with a native group known as the Arikara. And eventually they're going to be followed by the Pawnee, Kiowa, Cheyenne, and Crow. But probably the more well-known Native American group to inhabit this area will more than likely be the Lakota. And the Lakota were kind of the western branch of what we know today as the Sioux. Now, the majority of the Sioux are going to originate along the Mississippi River Valley in what is today Minnesota and Wisconsin. But due to warring with other tribes along the Great Lakes, many of which are starting to receive 7 Years' War, so they're going to give up this entire area through a treaty to the Spanish. And by 1800, the Spanish decide they don't want this area anymore, so they're going to give it back to the French through another treaty. And by 1803, the French decide they don't want this area anymore either, so this time they are going to sell it to one of the men right up there on that mountain, President Thomas Jefferson. And this, of course, will be part of his very famous Louisiana Purchase. So by the next year, the Lewis and Clark expedition will set out along the Missouri River to explore some of this newly acquired territory. However, they're not going to venture very far westward from the Missouri. However, they will speak with a lot of the Lakota tribes in that area, as well as the French fur trappers as well, who actually have seen the Black Hills. But of course, eventually their journey is going to take them further westward to the Pacific Ocean. And again, on their return journey, they're not going to venture very close to the Black Hills. However, of course, they're not going to be the last Americans to move throughout this area. So now we're going to see a lot of American fur trappers coming out this direction.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in singing America's national anthem.
Oh, they last with the gallantly streaming, and the rugged frigate was blasting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does their star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the
So at this time, I would like to invite any current or former members of the military down on stage to be honored.